it's all your fault and your grandmother's fault.
Oh, that's bull crap. It's not our fault.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to episode 58 of the Tay and Tristan Hour.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, we skipped a week last week. We didn't upload a pod.
Yes.
Because we were on an adventure. We were on a journey.
To Missouri.
Yeah.
Misery.
Yes, we went to Springfield, Missouri, to watch my Aunt Tracy, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
We watched her graduate.
Yes.
So give her a round of applause.
Yes. Yeah, congratulations to Tracy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
She's 60 years old and she got her high school diploma.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
it is.
Congratulations to Tracy.
Yeah.
So, and Tristan and Mom had the idea to drive, and I've taken the trip from Florida to Missouri a few times in the car, and I tried to explain to you that it was not going to be a nice ride. So, so it's like what, anywhere from 13 to about 14
it can
hours.
It
can be anywhere from 13
like
to
more
15
like
hours.
16 hours.
Right.
Like.
So out of 32 hours round trip, okay, Tristan drove 6. Okay, Tristan, out of a 32 hour drive, Tristan drove 6 hours.
Okay, let me get into this. First of all,
yeah, come on, get into it.
First of all, that wasn't completely my fault, okay? Because,
no,
listen, so initially the idea was we were going to switch off driving on the way there and on the way back, okay?
Yes.
Then the problem was that it was a rental, okay? So...
Okay.
So they figured maybe I shouldn't drive the car.
Yes.
Because I wasn't technically like added as a driver.
Yes.
Or whatever. I don't know what the statute of limitations on this is, but I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, really.
But so that's why
wasn't my fault.
So that's why I didn't drive for most of the time going down there.
Whose fault was that though?
It
was not my fault. That was Johnny.
No, because you agreed that I probably shouldn't drive either.
Because I didn't want to argue with him.
Oh my goodness. Well, either way, it wasn't my fault.
Okay,
that's the
so
point.
that part I'll give you. And
so
then,
that's why I only drove the last 3 hours to Missouri.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is
because
Springfield. Yeah.
At that point, I was dozing off while driving.
Yeah.
Which was like, that's it, because Johnny couldn't drive anymore. And then I was like, I'm tired. And
you were driving for a while. I think you took over at we left at around 8:30 East Central Time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where we were when we stopped, but it was like...
We were in Poplar Bluff when we stopped.
Poplar Bluff?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we were.
No, when we stopped the first time
we were in I think
we were somewhere in Georgia, I'm pretty sure.
No, we got through Georgia because I think Johnny drove us through Georgia. Parts of Georgia. He got us through Atlanta.
Yeah. Because that's like 4 hours away.
Yeah, because we got through there. And then once we got through Atlanta, then I took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was at like midnight, I think?
At 1 a.m.
Are you sure? I thought it was like 12.
I think it was like 12 it was like 12. No, it was like 1, I think, in the morning.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then you drove until like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I was tired.
Maybe 8 a.m.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm swerving. I was like, I got to go. And then I think we were in, Poplar Bluff, I believe.
Well, before we stopped
crazy.
And switched drivers, there was some chaos going on.
Oh, my Lord. That's
in the vehicle.
Oh, my gosh. I was like...
Basically, Johnny and Grandma thought we were lost or something.
They did. Oh my gosh, I was getting
especially Grandma. She kept saying, "We lost. We don't." She called my Aunt Tracy because she was so concerned. She was like, "We lost. We don't know where we are, and I'm scared of all these bridges. I've never seen these big bridges before." And she's just like going crazy.
I know. Oh my God, because we went through Illinois, but it took us, the GPS for some reason took us on these back roads, and we were going through like Illinois, and then it took us through Sikeston, Missouri, and we're on these bridges. And so And the bridges did look a little bit creepy, but it was daytime, okay?
Yeah.
And it was raining, okay? And it was scaring Mom. And oh my gosh. So I have got Johnny on one side talking about, he just kept talking about the time.
Yeah.
He kept talking about, oh my gosh, we still have 4 hours. And it was like, why I hear banjos, and it was just like, okay, so I have that on my right side. Then I have Mom on the right side, but in the back. And then she's got Tracy. I don't know if she had her on FaceTime or what.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to pull over and just scream
Yeah.
at this point. And
Yeah, there was a lot of arguing back and forth.
I was just like, and Tracy's just like, I was like, I know where I'm going. I was like, I'm following the GPS. We are not lost.
Yeah.
I said, we're just on a back road. We're not lost. I said, I know where we're going. It's telling me what highway. I was like, oh my gosh. And they just kept on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you are just like, huh?
What do you mean?
Because Tristan's like half asleep. You're just now waking up. You didn't back me up at all.
That's not true. I did defend you.
Eventually.
I did.
After I'm like screaming at everybody.
Oh my God. I defended you.
And then Tracy's like, listen, y'all are all tired. Tracy's trying to mediate everything. Yeah. Just get here safe. I'm like, I'm trying to, but they won't shut the F up.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And I think my body, it was just crazy. And so when we got to Poplar Bluff, I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was so tired. And I think I slept.
Mm-hmm.
I was knocked out. I was like, Tristan, you got to drive. And I told Johnny, I said, I don't care if he ain't on the damn rental agreement. I was like, he's a good driver. He's driving. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because Johnny was like, I'm driving. I straight up told Johnny, no.
Yeah.
I said, you're not driving.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We can not. I don't think anybody in the car slept except for maybe you when Johnny was driving.
I might have slept a little bit. I think maybe on.
I don't think anybody trusts Johnny to drive.
No, was it? I think.
Poor
yeah,
guy.
I mean, I barely slept at all the whole time. I think I slept a little bit on the way there.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think I woke up in Murfreesboro or whatever that place is
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. We're like, where are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not fun. It was fun when we got to Springfield. It was fun.
Yeah.
And spending time with family there. But oh my gosh, that was like the most. And I told you, and I asked Tristan, I said, and I asked you, I said, so what were you thinking on the way back home? And what did you think on the way back home about the whole trip?
I said this was a mistake. It was a mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
It was
lesson learned.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it'd be better if we were in a more comfortable car. I mean,
like an RV.
Yeah. Or even like a bigger SUV, because we were kind of in like a mid-sized SUV. It had some space, but it's not like a Tahoe or anything.
I wasn't
like that.
paying for a Tahoe. That was crazy.
Yeah, those would be expensive.
No, I wasn't paying.
But it was a lot more comfortable than like a sedan would be. I mean, that would have been.
It was a lot more
ridiculous.
comfortable than the last rental SUV that we were in.
Yeah.
When the last time when me and Johnny and Mom went.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't go the last time.
No.
I was trying to explain to you how long this drive was going to be. But you didn't want to spend money on airfare. Mom didn't want to spend money on airfare. I don't even like to fly. I'm terrified of flying. And I was like, I'm going to fly. Because I have taken that trip 4 times now, 5 times now. 4 times. 4 times now.
Okay, no. It would be when you first came here, you guys drove.
Yes. And then I came back, and then I went back the following year to get Mom. So the trips I've taken back and forth.
1, 2, that's 3.
Yeah. And then we went again
For
without
Thanksgiving.
you. We went again without you.
Yeah.
Me and Johnny and Mom. That's 4. This was the 5th trip.
Yeah.
That I've taken.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I did not want to do it. And I was like,
Well, it shouldn't have been that bad for you. You're used to it, right?
That's why I didn't want to do it. And I kept telling y'all.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to do it. And then on the way back, because once it was established you could drive, we were going to let you drive. And then you only drove for like 2.5, 3 hours.
No.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
Tristan, on the way back.
Okay.
On the way back home, not there.
Oh
On the way back, you didn't even put in your 4 hours. We were all supposed to drive 4 hours at least, and you only drove 3 maybe on the way back. Yeah, that part.
Yeah, I don't have an excuse. I think it's
Yeah,
just. I think I just get more. If I was by myself, I would have been able to do it.
You would have had a choice.
Yeah, but I think whenever there's a lot of people in the car, I get like nervous that I'm gonna crash. So I don't want to.
Why?
I don't know. I just, especially like at night and when I haven't slept at all, I'm sleep deprived. So all my senses aren't 100%. I mean, I could have drove the whole way. I could have if I forced myself. I just get paranoid that I'm gonna like crash or something. So I was like, oh,
I kept
wanna
asking you
drive?
if you were okay.
Yeah, I was. I mean, yeah, yeah.
And I said, let me know when you're ready and I'll switch.
I mean, I drove for like 3 hours through the freaking Smoky Mountains, and it's freaking dark, and there's no lights.
That scared you.
Yeah,
That's why you're like, okay, I'm done.
yeah,
You're like, I'm done. And we were all going downhill.
yeah.
That
Because there's so
okay.
yeah. Because
And the
going
trucks were there.
through those mountains, there's so many trucks. Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a major highway. I'm sure that a
Yeah.
lot of trucks use,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of truck stops and stuff along there.
Yeah.
And they're just tons and tons of semi trucks.
Yeah. It's
know,
crazy.
And it's like really dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was in the back. I was like, why am I keep going back and forth like this? I was like swaying. I was like, okay. Then I looked up. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're going through. But the good thing though about it is when we went through St. Louis and Illinois to come back home was probably the better way because it was all highway.
Yeah.
But like both times I drove, I was like, man, I mean, dude, seriously, I was like dozing.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't know if y'all felt it because if I like the car would jerk or whatever, that was probably me like dozing off.
Yeah.
And I was praying the whole time. I was just like, Jesus Christ, just please get me here. Just please keep my eyes open. I was praying the entire time because y'all were back there because they can sleep. Like y'all can sleep when I'm driving because I'm a good driver.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were probably a little bit more
Well,
comfortable.
mostly. She did run a red light when we were leaving. I don't remember where we were, but
Yeah.
you did run a red light.
Yeah, I did. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Thank you for reminding me. I have to pay that ticket.
Oh, yeah. You did get a ticket last month.
Shoot, I need to look at the date on that.
I think it was like July 7th or 17th or something.
I know. Thank you I'm glad you brought that up because I sure would have forgot.
Yeah.
I better look at that again. I better make sure I'm paying that too.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't get a ticket from that, too.
I know. They'll be like, you have to come to court now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, like, yeah, I ran a red light. Okay. But for the most part, I'm like on highway driving. Y'all trust me to drive
Yeah.
that distance. Johnny did great starting out, but when he gets tired and then he gets confused because then he's like, where are we?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, pull over.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cut him off at 4 hours. I'm like, we're done.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, because he just can't, we can't, we're older. We cannot take that drive anymore. It's hard.
Yeah.
And mom is like, well, I'm fine. It's like, yeah, but you're not driving. You're just a passenger and back
Yeah.
there calling people, talking about we're lost.
Yeah.
I don't know this bridge. And I don't know if she knows where she's going. And that just made me so mad. And he
I
was
know.
like, and Tracy's like, y'all are tired. I was like, if they would just shut the F up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
It
it's
just made me mad. And I'm usually not that way, but I was so tired. And I'm still tired. We have been home for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still tired. Like I had to lay down and take a nap today. Thank God I was off work.
Yeah.
But I'm still tired.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
exhausting. I mean, that's the
Nuts.
longest drive that I've ever been on. It's exhausting.
I told you.
Yeah.
So next time. So this is my thing. I'm not traveling again.
You mean by car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like I have no plans to leave Florida anytime soon.
Yeah.
Now I will travel within the state of Florida to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I won't travel outside of Florida for a while. If I don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
If I do for vacation, it may be like a year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to go to New York of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that's on my bucket list to do. But other than that,
Would you take a train? Like an Amtrak?
I might take an Amtrak train, yeah. As long as I'm not driving.
Yeah.
It's like,
Taking a train would be cool.
But it's expensive. Amtrak is expensive though too.
They are expensive, and
everything is expensive.
But especially they're like if you're going somewhere far away, it's like really long.
Long trip.
Right. Like if you're going like halfway across the country, like if we're going from here to like Missouri, it might be like a 24-hour ride.
Yeah. Not longer. That's probably longer, maybe. Because a bus ride is like 2 days from here to Missouri. So it's funny, John. It was either Tracy or John. They were like, just, they were like, take the bus if you don't drive. I'm like, shit, I don't want to be on the Greyhound bus for 2.5 days.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I've taken a Greyhound bus before. No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's comfortable when you first get on, and then after you're on it for a minute, you're like, okay. Yeah.
Anytime you're in a vehicle for that long, it just sucks.
It's not comfortable.
It just sucks. The thing is, like, it would be better. I mean, like you want to get home or get to wherever you're going as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so nice to just be able to stop and like sleep for a little bit. And if you have the money, even get a hotel maybe for the night. Like that, something like that would make it a lot easier.
I think what's worse is like I left like the same night. Like I worked all day. We both worked all day the day that we left. And then, I was just...
And I came from driving all day.
Yeah, that's why me and Tristan didn't start off driving. Like, I work from home, but I was just like, I was like, I'm tired. Like, I got off work at 7:30 that night, and then we left.
Yeah.
But we left by 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, we left before
like
8 o'clock.
No, it wasn't before 8.
Yeah, it was. Because it was. We left... Yeah, it was like 7:45 when we got out of here.
Yeah.
And we were on the road, like highway, by 8, a little after 8 o'clock. Because I had to stop and get something to eat, and then, we left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was nice to see everybody. And I think what made it more difficult was the fact that it was like a short weekend. It wasn't like we were there for a few days.
Yeah.
And then so we really didn't have time to rest. And then we left, early on Sunday, and then made a few stops Sunday morning, and put flowers on, my brother's grave and my nephew's grave, and then came back home.
Yeah.
So that was just like, it was just like, man.
Yeah, I would do it. I would like to do another road trip like that, just if there's like less time constraints.
We did have time constraints.
Like that'd be better. Like, or even just doing a road trip for the sake of a road trip to just like go and see stuff.
Yeah.
And you can stop whenever you want and rest.
The only way I would do that is if I weren't driving and somebody else was.
Yeah.
And we were in a nice luxury RV.
Yeah.
Where I had a bed and
you should have rented an RV.
But I don't want to drive. I do not want to drive.
But driving an RV is more comfortable.
No,
probably.
I don't want to drive at all.
I mean, for this last trip, you should have rented an RV.
No, well, who else was going to pay for that?
I don't know.
Okay, then, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much it is. I'm assuming it's more than a car.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't paying for that. So basically, I'm not traveling for a while. And I'm still recuperating from it. It's crazy.
What do you think of Springfield now compared to when we lived there?
I don't know.
How does it feel being back there?
I was surprised, like, how it was so interesting because I was like, man, it's built up so much. And then I recognized, like, how long I've been gone from there.
Yeah.
So I've been gone. I was like, well, I have been gone for a few years. Like, I've been gone for 6 years. So I was like, okay, yeah, they would build up things in 6 years. It's so weird because you're like, I can't believe they built this stuff up since I've been gone. But yeah, it's built up. I wouldn't want to move back there to live.
I didn't notice much built up. What did you notice built
There's
up?
a lot of, like, whenever we, like from the other side of Sunshine, people probably don't know what we're talking about. But like I never thought that Missouri would have a lot of dispensaries. I was shocked to see that.
Well, it's
and
legal
just
there.
See how
it is legal there now.
And then just to see like how some of the older apartment buildings on parts of Sunshine where we used to live, or drive through,
They're
were
updated.
were updated, and how they built up some new banks and stuff. Just kind of seeing where places that weren't built up before are kind of built up and they have new
Yeah.
buildings and everything's updated. So it's nice. And then they have the High V over there that's built off of Sunshine, which they didn't have. Maybe there were old buildings or homes there that they kind of built up and gentrified, if you want to say that. But yeah, I mean, it's just it looks better. I mean, you drove by the old high school that you went to, so how was that? So
It looks the same.
yeah, and our
Looks
duplex,
exactly the same.
the duplex, because we lived in a duplex that was right across from the high school that Tristan used to go to.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood it looks exactly
Alex,
the same.
did you actually drive through? Like,
Yeah, we drove through around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same.
It all looks the same.
Yeah, you should have been like, knock knock. Hey, we used to live here.
No.
Can I come in and see my old room?
No.
Um,
I wonder if those neighbors that we were feuding with back in the day still live there.
Probably
Remember that?
not. They probably don't. We were so. Oh my gosh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, that was. But they
ridiculous.
were the worst neighbors ever.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, they just didn't like us because me and Johnny were an interracial couple.
You think that was it?
It was part of it, yeah. And then they just didn't like because they had made a remark to him about me, but I didn't hear it because I was working and doing my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't. And what was funny is interesting is that they were a lesbian couple.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
It's like, okay, I don't have it's to each his own, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Being discriminated against, an interracial couple
Yeah.
was being discriminated against by a lesbian couple.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay. So yeah, and it was interesting because they actually like vandalized my car. I had to take pictures. They left nasty notes on my car about a parking space. Because you know how the parking is in duplex when you're living side by somebody. It's like it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And they actually took us to court, or they took Johnny to court.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and like we showed up to court and they didn't show up.
Really?
They didn't. It was nuts.
What was it even for?
I don't know if they were suing Johnny for something. I cannot even remember. I don't know if it. I don't know. I can't even remember what it was. It was over something stupid.
Yeah.
And so we showed up and they didn't show up, so they had to drop whatever the complaint was. But I remember going to court with him, and Johnny was mad.
Yeah, I bet.
I had to tell Johnny, I was like, "Don't you go off on that judge."
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean that. Yeah, it was so dumb.
I remember when we were moving from there to the apartment. We literally just moved down the road.
Yeah, we
And,
literally did. Yeah,
But my cousins were helping us like pack up or move or whatever.
Yeah.
And my cousin, I guess Johnny like told Johnisha, my cousin, that they were enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Johnisha, she starts like banging on the wall and screaming and making as much noise as possible. It was so funny.
They are the enemy.
Yeah.
It was terrible. That was like, what? Well, we moved because we had made complaints to the landlord. They were making complaints to the landlord to us, and it was just a mess. We even went up there with the note, like, this is what they're putting on my car. They put a chip in I just got my Cadillac. They put a chip in it. They did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just yeah, that was just like a terrible time, and that also was like, I think that was like after we lost Steven and stuff. I mean, they were just being, some people are just evil. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And they just don't care. People
were
are
just Karens.
They were Karens.
Yeah.
That is for sure. They were definitely some Karens. And yeah, I mean, Johnny be sitting out there minding his business. They just pull up and would just start mess. It just for no reason.
Yeah.
So, I'm so even with that being said, no, I wouldn't move back to Springfield.
Yeah.
Because people out here where we live just really mind their own business. People in
Yeah.
Florida don't care. Not at least where we live.
Yeah.
they just don't. People mind their own freaking business.
Yeah, they do.
And a lot of people that I came across when I was at the store the other day, I came across some people and they were like, "Hey," they were like, "You look just like our niece."
Really?
They were like, "You have a twin," and they were like, "What is your name, sweetie?" Told them my name. They're like, "Oh, I just want to let you know you have a twin in this world." They were just the sweetest people.
Yeah.
So I never got any of that living in Springfield.
Yeah.
The mentality in Springfield is completely different. So
Yeah, it is.
it was nice to see my family and everybody there, and it was so funny because I was messing with Mom, and I said, "Well, Mom," I said, "Man, they've built up all kinds of stuff, but it looks kind of nice."
Yeah, they got a rib crib over
They
here.
got a rib crib over here, Mom. She was like, "I don't care." She's like, "I ain't moving back here."
Yeah, no.
And it's just not. It's not a place.
It's
for
so
us
funny
anymore.
when I
Yeah.
see people online saying that Jacksonville is like the most boring city.
Yeah.
There was something I saw on the news that said it was ranked as like the most boring city in the U.S., which is like, okay, go live in Springfield, Missouri. Go
Yeah.
live in the in
Really.
a city like most cities in the Midwest.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not.
you have no idea.
No, it's not. And it's Springfield is boring.
Yeah.
I don't think we realized how different our lives were once we moved out here.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. I got to see like my old regional director boss um while we were there.
Mhm.
And he met Tristan and my mom and everybody. So yeah, it was it was really cool
Yeah.
to go back and kind of see everybody. But yeah, no.
It is weird. It's just a different vibe. It's just
It
a totally
is.
different vibe. It just feels so different,
No.
you know?
So when you come back here, like this, when you come back to Florida and we cross that state line, it's like, oh, we're home.
Yeah, it feels like home. That's what I was telling Grandma when we were driving around and looking at stuff. I was like, it just feels weird being, like, it just feels weird. I don't know. Because this is the first time I've been back since we moved in
Yeah.
2019. And I was like, I think what it is that I mostly recognize everything, but it doesn't
Mhm.
feel like home anymore.
Yeah.
Even though I lived there for like 13 or 14 years or however long.
You lived there for
Yeah.
most of your life.
Yeah.
Adult, like childhood,
Yeah.
adolescence. I mean,
Yeah,
when,
from 6 to 19.
yeah,
Lived there.
yeah,
Yeah.
practically almost your whole grown, like adolescence.
All
and
my
everything.
formative years.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. And so, I don't know if it ever felt like that. Like I know that's how I feel too. Like even after, like we drive through Union, like that's my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was born. It's where I was raised. It's where I went to school, high school. I met Johnny out there. I mean, there's just like it's where I worked most of my life. But then it's like, yeah, it doesn't feel the same. It's almost kind of like I would not want to go back there.
Yeah.
If I had to, yeah, I know where I could go back to, but it's not like it would feel foreign to me,
Yeah.
I guess.
'Cause
It
you were a
wouldn't feel
different
the
person.
same. Yeah.
Like from 6 years ago, like you're
Yeah.
a different person than you are
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. And I think it's just a place we're not meant to be back to, I think. We're
Mhm.
just not meant to be back there.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I could be wrong. But that's how it feels to me though.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, nice to visit, but
Yeah.
goodbye. Goodbye, Springfield. We're out of here.
Yeah. It was
Um,
nostalgic. It felt nostalgic for
Yeah.
me.
And every time I see that Florida sign, I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
I don't care if I have 2.5 more hours to drive to Jacksonville. Yes, I'm just across that Florida state line.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. And it felt foreign to leave Florida.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like once I'm here, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And it's just like I want to visit everything else here.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much in Florida to see outside
Yeah.
of Jacksonville. So I could vacation where I live.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing
I think what
about
it,
being here.
I think what it was too is that being back there, it
Yeah.
felt so much more like, I don't want to say like, felt more country almost
Yeah.
being there compared to here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
then when you went to Sullivan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
when
that
I was
interesting.
little, I used to think like Sullivan and Buford and all that was like a different world.
Yeah.
It's like only like 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like feeling the comparison between like Springfield and here. I'm like, this is just it's only 2 hours away. It doesn't feel that different from like Sullivan or Beaufort or something.
No,
You know,
it really doesn't.
no.
It really doesn't. But people are always like, well, I don't. Jacksonville just has a different feel or smell or whatever. I'm like, listen. I'm like, go live in the towns we grew up in, and here is like,
Yeah, go live in some small Midwest towns.
yeah,
See how you like it.
It's you think there ain't nothing to do here, go live there because there's a lot of free things to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I could just walk around downtown forever and be fine.
Yeah.
Or I can go to the beach anytime I want, and I'm fine.
Or go to St. Augustine. That's only 40 miles away or whatever.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the life I have here. And I'm more content with the life I have here than I was in Springfield. Springfield felt like work constantly. It didn't matter what you did.
Yeah.
To me, that's just my opinion of it. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who love Springfield. And hey, it's great. I remember moving to Springfield and thinking this is like a bigger city compared to Union.
Yeah. Well,
so
yeah,
it's like that step up, Yeah. And so coming from there coming to Florida from there was just like a major. I remember seeing the city of Jacksonville when we drove in the first time.
Yeah.
And I was really kind of intimidated by it. I was like, oh no, this is too big.
Yeah.
I was like, the first thing I thought was, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find my way around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get lost. And I do still get turned around because I don't drive everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's huge.
So I'm like, what the heck?
It's the largest city in the U.S. by land.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's another thing I noticed too, is how much smaller it felt. Because it is. It's so much. Springfield is so much smaller.
Yeah.
Like so much smaller than Jacksonville.
And when we got into town, I said, Tristan, don't you know where we're at? And you're like, no. I was like, we're right by like the hospital. What do you mean? Or it looks familiar. He comes into town. He's like, it looks familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh.
It took a minute to come back to me.
I was like,
well, it's also because I never drove there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like I wasn't really driving a lot through the city. I've driven a lot here.
Yeah.
So I, know how to get to places, but.
Yeah. But they were all happy to see you, though. They were like, "Oh my gosh, Tristan finally came back."
Yeah. I was really hoping I didn't see anybody that recognized me.
Why?
I don't know, just because I don't want to have like the awkward small talk conversation. like I went to Walmart to get something. I don't remember. Oh, I went to get a new cup because I left my cup in that nasty hotel room.
Yeah.
So I had to go buy another one, and I got in and out of there really fast because I didn't want anybody to recognize me.
Oh, they were like, Tristan, oh my gosh, don't you remember we dated?
No.
Why did you break up with me?
Oh my God. No, that wouldn't happen. But
no.
But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Besides the hotel that we booked.
Yes, explain to everybody before we get to like our second part of the segment of the podcast. Explain to everybody what the hotel, the first hotel in Springfield was like.
So I booked a hotel like maybe a week or so before we left, something like that. It was at a Quality Inn. It's the Quality Inn on US 65 in Battlefield. I didn't read the reviews. I should have read the reviews. All I saw, it was like a 3.9 star on Google. I was like, oh, that's good enough. But I didn't read the reviews.
You want to do 4.0 and over.
Yeah.
At least, yeah.
But I just wanted to hurry up and book it. But I mean, Grandma get to the hotel. There's barely any cars there. Like, I guess, which is kind of normal for a hotel. Like, during the day, there's going to be less cars there because people are probably out during the day.
Yeah, maybe.
But whatever. So we go to the front desk with our bags. And we're like, oh, we're here to check in, blah, blah, blah. And then the lady comes out and she says, oh, okay, this is your room number. You can park anywhere in the back. I was like, oh, Okay. I didn't realize that the doors were on the outside. It's one of those hotels where it's not a building where you go in and go to your room. It's like one of those seedy motels
Yeah.
where they're all on the outside. Because it was so funny because I didn't know that when she gave me the key. So I was just walking through the reception or whatever it's called. And
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
were
oh,
looking.
where's the room? I was like, this is the pool. How do you get to the room? And then I was like,
Oh my
oh, it's
god.
outside. I was like, okay. First red flag, which I should have known. That was kind of my fault.
First red flag. Yes. Okay.
So we drive around to the back, and we get to the room. We open the door, and it's just the most foul smell. Just a horrible smell. I can't even describe. It's like I can't even describe it. It's like sour urine or something kind of smell in the room. It was
I
just
don't
it
know
was
what.
just nasty. The carpet felt sticky and like it hasn't been cleaned in 20 years. The lamps were all dusty. One of the lamps didn't even work. The sink was clogged up.
Oh, you didn't tell me
the
about the sink
Yeah,
though.
the sink was clogged up, like the water didn't run out of it. There were stains on the walls of the shower. I mean, it was just off of the furniture. Like, you know how they'll have like an armoire or something in there. The drawers were all crooked
Uh,
in the dresser. And me and
yeah.
Grandma just sat there for a few minutes, and we're like trying to get used to it. We're trying to get used to it. Like, okay, like we're trying to accept that this is where we were gonna stay. And then
They're working through
eventually,
the 5 stages of
yeah.
grief
So
there.
eventually, well, we left to go get some air freshener to try to freshen the room up. And then well, we parked at Walmart, and I was like, you know what? I think we should stay somewhere else. 'Cause I don't think because me and Grandma were both like, yeah, no, we can't stay there. So we got a new room, and it was fine. So
Yeah, and I told him, I'm like, no, you have to check out.
yeah, we just left.
We're like, you have to check out so you can get your money back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we did get the money back
Yeah.
at least.
And you
So
told them, no, it was just, what did you tell the lady or tell them?
I don't remember exactly. I know I opened up by saying there was a horrible smell,
Yeah.
and then told them, whatever. It just wasn't good, so we left. So
Yeah. I mean, like,
I don't think it would have mattered what I said. They would have given me the money back because we didn't
yeah.
stay. We didn't stay there one night.
Yeah.
We were there for maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah. I'd been like, no. I've been like, it smells like there was probably a whole bunch of people in here doing something nefarious.
Yeah,
And y'all just didn't clean nothing.
yeah.
I told you if you had one of them blue lights, you would have seen all kinds
Oh
of
my
nasty
god,
stuff.
no, I couldn't.
I should buy one of those.
Really?
Anytime I go to a hotel and just scan the whole room, I bet you find all kinds of nasty stuff.
Then you won't stay at any hotels.
You probably not. I'd be like, no, that's okay. Just
Yeah.
rent Airbnbs.
Yeah, but it was a really sketchy hotel. It was really.
The first red flag was there were no cars there.
Yeah, there was like a couple in the front, and I mean there was another parking lot, like in the back, like where all the rooms are. So there was a few cars back there, but it was mostly empty.
But then the second one was the doors were on the outside.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't see any of that in the pictures. Again, I didn't
If they
do.
didn't have images, that's probably why.
No, they did there, but they're like mostly like of the rooms and like of the like front desk area. I mean, I should have done more research. I probably would have seen a photo.
But I
of that.
think that your aunt Tracy told you that you didn't want to stay there.
Yeah, but that was after I'd booked it already.
But you could have canceled the reservation though.
Yeah, I probably could have. Yeah.
But you were like, no.
Yeah,
This
I
is what
thought
you do. You do this all the time. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I
You
thought
had-
it'd be
that's
okay.
that you're. You do that all the time. No, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And then until it's not fine.
Yeah, I
So
thought it'd be fine.
that's why.
But no, it wasn't.
No, it's never fine.
But we got a room at the Comfort Inn. There were plenty of cars there. It was packed. They only had one elevator, but it's fine. It was a nice hotel. It was a lot cleaner.
Okay.
No weird smells. So
That's key.
I definitely learned my lesson with booking
I told
hotels.
you.
Do your research. For sure.
They definitely don't stay in anything that's like less than a 4.0.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a 3.9.
Yeah. I don't know who even gave it that with that smell.
Yeah, well, they're probably.
That's probably the owners doing
That's
that.
the thing. I really should have read the
Yeah.
reviews because there were reviews on there saying the room smelled awful.
I know.
Like multiple saying that the room smelled awful.
Yeah. So why didn't you?
I didn't read the reviews. I should have.
I bet you will now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
All right.
Without a doubt.
Yes. So that was our trip to Missouri. So now moving on. We're gonna do some subreddit. We're gonna do some subreddit topics, right?
We're going to read and react to some posts from the Am I the Asshole subreddit. Basically,
He loves to do this one.
Yeah, it's fun because it's fun to get
these.
people just putting their business out there. It's fun, and we get to talk about it.
He's such a gossip. It's ridiculous.
No, not really, but kind of.
No, not really, but kind of.
Just when I mean, these are just it's interesting.
You are a gossip, though.
No, not at all. I've never been like that. But I'm saying it's interesting.
Okay.
The situations that people get into.
Yeah.
And they run to the internet for advice.
Okay.
And we're here to kind of give advice, kind of.
A little bit. A little bit, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll fire away.
All right, let's see here. So the first one is, am I the asshole for reporting a crying baby to HR? I am second-guessing my decision to report to HR. There is a person in my building who brings their infant to work with her, and it cries and screams and fusses, as babies do. She does not close her office door, but leaves it open like an echo chamber, resounding through the halls. It is incredibly difficult to focus on anything at all with a crying baby in your ear. Closing my door helps a bit, but we have a culture of leaving doors open to signal that you're available for an impromptu meeting. I leave mine open about half of the time. I decided today that something's got to give. I do not know her, and we do not work for the same department. I work in an office with a lot of touchy personalities and egos, and I was not confident that I could simply ask her to close her door without setting off World War III, either with her individually or between our co-located departments. Instead, I sent a very nicely worded email to HR asking if someone can send her an anonymous request to please kindly keep her door closed while she has her baby with her. I assumed the woman has some kind of reasonable accommodation for having the baby at work, but now I'm second-guessing myself. What if she doesn't and isn't supposed to have the baby with her? Did I just tell on her? I am feeling quite sheepish about it at the moment. Should I have tried to resolve this myself? HR has already responded with an empathetic, good job in bringing this to HR, as this is an HR issue and not something to handle yourself. But I still feel like maybe I'm the asshole here.
Well, it sounds like she may have an accommodation for it, because I'm sure she's not the only one that can hear the baby crying.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and I'm sure, and I don't know if other people have, if nobody else has reported her to HR.
Yeah.
I'm sure people in HR are aware of it.
Yeah, they must be.
I mean,
but even though they
wouldn't
did say,
just bring a baby to work.
But she said at the end, they emailed her back and said, good job bringing this to HR, as this is an HR issue and not something to handle yourself. But that doesn't mean they could still know about it, but nobody's like complained
about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then maybe they're just replying, because sometimes HR will reply even though they know about a situation, because the HR can't ignore request, they can't ignore complaints or anything like that. So, I mean, that's just kind of like a polite way of saying, well, we appreciate, we hear you, but we know already. Yeah. Because people can't just bring babies to work.
Yeah. She has to have some kind of permission or reason.
For why. Yeah. And maybe it's just something that's temporary that she's doing.
Yeah.
But I do understand, like, there has to be, like, you have to just can't be working and let your baby scream and cry.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she's saying like the baby's just crying all the time.
Mhm.
So is she just exaggerating just because it gets on her nerves?
She could be.
You know,
She might not be around a lot of babies.
babies. Yeah. So I think that because sometimes people can be Karens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at the same
At
time,
the,
I mean, you've worked in an office before.
yeah.
What if someone had brought their baby to work every day while you're working
So
and it's
the
crying?
thing, here's the thing is like if that was going to happen, there would be a staff meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like so they're of different if there's people that are working in different departments, they have different department heads and supervisors, but everybody would get a memo that this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's not supposed to have the child there, then nobody, you wouldn't be aware of it.
Yeah.
If she is supposed to, they would let people know so that they're not caught off guard.
Yeah, that's probably
You know?
something that they should have done. They could give people notices
Yeah.
that there would be a child there,
Yeah.
an
So
infant.
yeah, so even if this lady has accommodations or a special privilege, something that to help her, maybe she doesn't have childcare, there's nobody, you know, maybe it's temporary, even if it's
Mhm.
temporary until she can get childcare set up. Um, maybe there's something medically wrong with the child and they need to be with the mother. I don't know. There could be a lot of different reasons
Yeah.
why the baby needs to be there with the mother, but it's that need at least people in the department and around her need to have notice as to why.
Yeah.
That should have been sent out to everybody so that it wouldn't have been reported to HR.
Mhm.
But if that's not the case and she's not supposed to have the child there, I mean, then she could be compromising this lady losing her job. You know what I mean?
By telling on her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But I just can't see
See?
a situation where they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Especially if
I
she
didn't
has
either.
just has her door open
Yeah, because she would be
all
trying to
day
hide
long
it.
and anybody can walk in there and
Yeah.
obviously people can hear the
Yeah.
baby, so
So I think that she has accommodations there, and I think that I just think people weren't aware.
yeah.
And if they work in different departments, like she said, the woman who has the child, I'm sure her supervisor and colleagues know.
Mhm. So
And
do you think she's an asshole for reporting her?
mm, hmm, um,
Personally, I don't think she's
I
completely an asshole cuz again, having a screaming
yeah,
child, it can
it affects your work. Yeah,
your work, you know.
I don't think that she is. I think because she does feel like, oh my gosh, what if I did this and then she loses her job? Like she feels
Mhm.
bad. She's not being like an ass about it.
Yeah.
But she's I don't think that she is, but I think she just, you know, she could at least be like, "Hey, is everything okay?" I mean,
Yeah.
I think that she could, just be like, "Hey, do you need any help?" Sometimes people are not completely empathetic
Mhm.
to others and they we don't reach out to other human beings.
Yeah.
Like we're not sympathetic. Some
Yeah.
people aren't sympathetic, and sometimes they think if you just communicate and just kind of be like, "Hey, is everything okay? Do you need anything?"
Yeah.
That could have been an approach she could have took.
Yeah, but she said that
But she's still, I mean, yeah, if you want to go to HR with it, it's fine. But I mean,
yeah.
you could also have a human connection with people as well.
Well, she said that she works in a place with a lot of big egos.
Yeah,
Even though she said she doesn't even know this lady.
yeah,
So she just assumed that if I say anything to her about it, she's going to blow up on me,
yeah.
you know.
But she's assuming she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Her. But that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah, she
Like,
could
she
have.
doesn't know her, but you can introduce yourself. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I think people they don't want to because they just assume because other people have big egos. I mean, that's just a reason not to and just be like, "Here, I'm just going to go to HR with it."
Yeah.
And then you think people in HR don't have egos?
Yeah, of course they do.
And get on power trips? Because some of them do.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't assume that either. But I'm just saying, I've worked around people in
Yeah.
HR. But, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think, Draco, quit licking me, licking your paw and licking my leg. Stop it. So I think that it's just you have to have a human side to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you can't just assume, oh, just because maybe you had an experience with one person who has a bad ego and a bad attitude that like
yeah. She could
somebody
have.
else is going to be that way
I guess she
too.
could have talked to her about it.
You know,
Maybe.
I just people just don't want to do that
But I
nowadays.
think a lot of people might feel uncomfortable doing that, especially with like a child,
Hmm.
and they're thinking like, oh, like what? You have something against my kid being here? Or I think that's probably how she assumed it would go.
But
You know?
people like babies.
Yeah.
Babies bring people together.
Well, everybody doesn't like babies.
Well, maybe this lady don't like babies,
Yeah.
and that's why she went to HR.
Yeah.
In that case, she could be an a-hole.
But no, but at least she said she wrote a politely worded email
You know.
and not a strongly worded email.
But I think that that's how people justify their behaviors. And then they feel like, oh, should I have done that? Well, if you're questioning and second guessing if you should have done something, you probably shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it
You
would have been
know?
better to just talk to her about it
Yeah.
directly.
I mean, maybe you
Probably.
should have thought it through because you were probably in your feelings about something.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But I get it. Like if it's they want you to leave your doors open because it's like if you work for companies, like leave your door open because you never know if we want to have a meeting, or want to make sure you're available. That's just I think that's some BS in my opinion. But I also think that I could see how it could interrupt you're trying to concentrate on your work depending on what kind of work she does. And it's hard if there's a distraction like that. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, just if there's a really important work you got to do, just, close your door and get one of those, there's like a white noise machines that kind of like
Drowns the sound out.
drowns that out, or
Yeah.
get some noise canceling headphones. There's ways that people can
Yeah,
do
you can work
things.
around it.
You can work around it, and it at least drowns out some of it. And I'm sure the baby's not screaming all day long.
Yeah,
I
probably not.
mean, I'm sure it's not, but I'm sure that is a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, I don't think she's an a-hole for it, but there were other
Oh,
ways that the situation could have been handled.
she just wrote an update for it.
Yeah.
We should read this.
Okay.
This was just 4 hours ago. Um She said, I really struggled with whether this was the right thing to do. I was thinking, what circumstances must a person be in that they think bringing their baby to work is the best option? I thought
Mhm.
about coming back to HR to sort of cancel the complaint, but then she just kept bringing the crying baby in, and it would be silent for a couple hours, then it would go off for an hour, or 10 minutes, or 40. You just never knew how long it would go on,
Mhm.
or how frequent. Every
Okay.
2 minutes, every 15, even
Yeah.
an hour would pass and then it would start up again.
Yeah.
I noticed every time I walked past her office, she was engaged with the baby and not her work. I noticed she only comes in from about 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and leaves for 1 to 2 hours in the middle of the day to walk the baby around outside.
Yeah.
I noticed how shot my productivity is, even with the door closed. I realize that I am getting paid to do a job out of taxpayers' money. We all are, and we are all underperforming because this one person is bringing their infant to work. HR took it very seriously, and even when I backpedaled, said they are required to look into it when children are being brought to the campus.
Mm.
Today they are nowhere to be heard. Her door is closed, and I got more done this morning than I had in 3 days last week on my project. I feel I did the right thing, and now that I've noticed
Mm.
her patterns, I think this person is unfairly taking advantage of their relatively unsupervised job in more ways than one. I won't be saying a thing about all that, though. I'm just glad the crying is gone.
Okay.
So maybe they didn't know she was bringing the baby.
Maybe not.
Possibly.
Okay. Hmm. So it was impacting everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And she said, I mean, it's a mostly unsupervised job. So, yeah, maybe they had no idea.
So maybe she was in a higher up position then.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
Well, she said they worked in different departments.
Yeah.
But
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think she's necessarily an
No, I
asshole.
don't think she is
No,
either.
no.
Well, that's why I said I don't think that she is,
Yeah.
or was, but there's a way that you can communicate too, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I get it. It would be frustrating. I get it, but yeah, okay.
All right. I think we'll just do one more. Am I the asshole for telling my wife she doesn't need more spending money just because she's a woman? Keyword, just because she's a woman. Okay.
That is the key word or phrase.
Yeah. My wife and I each get $1,000 a month in fun money that we can use however we want. We agreed to this system to keep things fair and avoid money arguments. I like simple hobbies, reading, hiking, gardening. Most months I barely spend half of my $1,000. My wife, on the other hand, spends nearly all of hers every month on things like nails, hair, skincare, clothes, and makeup. Excuse me. A few weeks ago, she told me it's not fair that we get the same amount. Her argument was basically, men don't need things, but women do. She said I should give her some of my leftover money, or that her budget should just be higher than mine. I told her I didn't think that was fair. I enjoy hobbies that happen to be inexpensive. It's my fault. It's not my fault I don't have expensive tastes. I honestly don't think nails and makeup are needs, they're wants. She got really upset and said I don't understand what it's like to be a woman, that she has to keep up with beauty standards. I get that some of that pressure is real, but again, we agreed on equal budgets. At a certain point, I feel like I'm being treated like an ATM, not a partner. I told her if her spending priorities have changed, we can talk. But just expecting more money because she chooses expensive routines feels unfair. Am I the asshole for standing my ground?
Hmm.
See, at first, when I first read her this title, I think she just assumed she'd be on the woman's side. But how do you feel after hearing that?
Well, I didn't. That's unfair.
No,
That's unfair to say that I would
that's what
just
it seemed like.
automatically be on the woman's
That's what you
side.
seemed like, because you were like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go in on that.
I was like, oh yeah, yeah, because I like to shop.
Yeah. So basically, the problem
I don't know. I mean, okay, if you're giving like $1,000 in fun money,
Yeah. So it's just like, what's it called? Disposable income.
disposable income,
Basically.
right? Yeah. So you pay all your bills, you got everything done, and then you got this money left over. Mhm. So she doesn't basically want to be told how to spend her money. Basically, he doesn't like what she's spending her money on.
Well, no, it's not just that he doesn't like what she's spending her money on. It's that she's spending all her money on that and then expecting more money because
from
she
him.
spent all hers because she needs to buy these things like nails and skincare stuff and clothes and whatever.
Right.
Because she's a woman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then it sounds like she needs to learn some responsibility and then get maybe a second job.
Yeah.
Or she needs to learn how. It sounds like I don't want to say she has a shopping addiction. I always go to something with addiction.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he's wrong. I mean, yeah, I mean, it sounds like she needs to learn some responsibility and accountability and learns how to budget. You can have extra money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine for her to spend money on nails and hair and clothes and things.
There's a fly on your head.
Oh, thank you. I feel like Mike Pence during the debates.
What, did he have
A long time ago, he had a fly on his head.
Oh.
Yeah, and it just stood there. It was just there forever. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was back in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that it's like, I don't think he's wrong. She just needs to learn how to budget her damn money.
Do you think she should get more money because she needs to buy these things to uphold
No.
beauty standards as a woman?
No, I don't think so. That's a simple answer. No. Now, some women are like, they like to be, kept, and I think some women go overboard with that.
Yeah.
I do. I think that some women have a very distorted view of what beauty is.
Well, yeah, there's definitely that.
I do. I don't think that but they, like they like the nails and the fake lashes and the certain types of clothes and extensions and get their hair done. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it, but um you don't have to go overboard with those things.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait, I'm gonna read something real quick
Yeah.
that somebody posted as a comment.
Yeah.
Um, they said normally I'd say not the asshole, but people should really look at this guy's history before answering. So like his posting history
Yeah.
on Reddit. They said he thinks women should smile more and can't be over 5'7". I bet you a hot Jackson that he'd dump his wife like a hot rock if her skin changed or her nails weren't kept up to his liking, but he wants to complain about the spending for upkeep.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
does that change your view of it, or?
No, I mean, I think that I don't know if it changes my view. I think it's not so much about him though. It's like it's her. Why are you with someone like that?
Well, but also the thing is, like, you're getting $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep up with beauty standards
For $1,000 a month.
$1,000
Yeah.
of fun money every month.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think that they're trying to put that off on him, but that's him. We're not talking about him. We're talking about her.
Yeah.
So if okay, so he likes those things. So you're with him because he's, what his expectations are,
Mm-hmm.
what he's looking for. You've known this. This is not something new. Okay.
Yeah.
So if $1,000 is a lot of money just for upkeep,
Yeah.
if you're just doing beauty,
Mm-hmm.
like you can do quite a bit with that.
Yeah.
And if you spend all that and you're still looking for more money from him or whatever, then yeah, I would be like, no, what happened to your $1,000?
Yeah.
I mean, what other beauty stuff do you need to do? I mean, and that's each month?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, every month.
that's ridiculous.
I think it is.
That's ridiculous. So, yeah, he can post like, women, everybody has standards in what they're looking for
Yeah.
in women and men.
Mhm.
I don't think that that's a bad thing.
No.
Go away. But I think that, if it sounds to me like she has just beauty standards that it won't matter what she does, like she will never be satisfied in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but what if it's a thing, and I'm just like assuming,
Weird.
but what if it's a thing where like he's nitpicking stuff all the time
Could be.
about stuff like that, and then maybe she's like, okay, well, give me more money to look like that, and then he says no.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
just
then,
based on, I mean, I don't know, like this whole posting history or
well,
whatever.
then in that
It sounds
scenario,
like it could be a scenario like that just based off what that person said.
yeah. Well, then if that's the case, then he needs to give her more money if that's what he's looking for. I mean, plain and simple. There's not
Yeah.
a whole lot that you can say about that. And then if he's not, and then if he wants her to look a certain way, then he should be like, well, honey, you should buy this, or why don't you get that? But it's all superficial.
Mm-hmm.
It's all superficial.
Yeah.
He's trying, and if that's the case, then he's trying to change. It sounds like a very unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, it does.
To me, it sounds like an extremely superficial relationship that our relationship is based off of how you look and not. I don't know. I'm just saying. It just sounds very I love you based off of how you look.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm gonna give you as much attention based off of how you look and how you continue to look. And makeup only covers so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Makeup only does so much. And then you can put on all the fake nails, hair, whatever, and
Yeah, you can look
it
good.
it only covers it only what makeup does is makeup enhances your natural beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Like makeup enhances what a woman already has.
Well, I'm not. I mean, maybe kind of, but I've seen some crazy transformations
I
where
know.
they wipe it all off, and they look like a totally different person.
That is true.
Yeah.
But if that's for women who cake on makeup,
Yeah.
where it completely changes their look.
Yeah.
There are women who can wear extremely minimal makeup,
Mm-hmm.
but it enhances their features. If you're just buying like all kinds of makeup and you're spending that much money, you trying to look like somebody else.
Yeah. But
And an example of that would be Pam Anderson. Like a lot of people are like, she looks completely different.
oh yeah. Yeah.
They're like, that is not the Baywatch lady.
Yeah.
But she looks different, but she's comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with how she looks without it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
And
it
she's
has
just older too.
she's older, people change, but she recognizes she doesn't need all of that.
Mhm.
That comes from something inside of a woman.
Yeah.
But if you're spending that much money and you still need more because of his standards, it's probably a relationship you don't need to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably an a-hole for this too, but I mean, both of them sound like they're extremely unhealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It also
It's
is
not.
crazy too to be. I mean, this is supposed to be fun money, right? And
Yeah.
you're supposedly using all of it for upkeep. I mean, we're just going off based on what
Yeah.
this guy is saying.
Right,
But
right.
I feel like if that's the case, then he might be urging her even to do that, and then
I agree.
you know, maybe I bet if she stopped doing all that stuff,
I'd break up with her
yeah,
or divorce her,
he'd
whatever.
probably complain about it.
or cheat on her.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Why don't you look the way that you looked 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Why are you not buying that anymore?" And that's whenever you don't. I would never want to be with a superficial person like that.
Yeah.
Why would you feel that puts a lot of stress on you to have to look a certain way all the time?
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of men like that want trophy wife.
Oh yeah,
They want her to
yeah.
look. I
That
guess a
one-
lot of men. I guess that's sort of like a traditional thing, in a way. Like if you're in a traditional relationship where the man is
Yeah.
working and you're just at home,
Mhm.
you might expect her to do more
Yeah.
or to look exactly how you want her to look or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
If you're paying her, taking care of her, not paying her. That sounded bad.
He's kind of paying her. I mean, I don't know.
But
I'm
if you're
assuming-
taking care of her financially and you're taking care of her needs, you're paying the bills,
Mhm.
you are taking care of her needs. You know, you want her to work out, you want her to look good. There's some men that pay for their wives to go to Pilates class and yoga, and
Yeah.
they want them to stay in shape. And if you're not working and you ain't got no kids, why not? You ain't got nothing else to do. I mean, you would do it, okay? And go get your facials and have spa days because they want your skin to look good. Okay, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
If they're taking care of them like that,
Mhm.
that's a kept woman.
Yeah.
That's a kept woman. So if they've got the money to take care of them, then yes. But I mean, I just it's still, but there has to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? If it's just I want you just to look this way because I want you to be a trophy,
Yeah.
I don't see how there's any sort of intimate connection or any sort of strong connection with
Mhm.
that because it's all superficial.
Or maybe
you know?
it's because he's not necessarily wanting a trophy wife, but maybe I mean I don't know their situation. Obviously,
Right, I don't
I'm
either.
just gonna assume that it's all his money, and he's giving her $1,000 a month, and it actually might be. I mean, who knows? I don't know if their finances.
Well, maybe
are
they're
combined or
both
whatever.
working,
But I'm
and
just saying it could. Let's say she's not working. Maybe he's not necessarily expecting a trophy wife, but she wants that to be that for him. Maybe because she doesn't work, and maybe
that's
she's
true.
sort of compensating for that.
True.
Possibly, it could. Obviously, I don't know their situation totally.
Could
but
be. I don't know.
That probably happens a lot, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Honestly.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
But I would just be like, I mean, yeah, it could be. But $1,000 just in fun money. Shit, I'll take $1,000 in fun money.
Yeah, a month, every month,
Every month?
just to do whatever you want with. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could spend it. Yeah, I could.
yeah, you definitely could. You definitely could.
I could. I would be buying clothes that I didn't need.
Yeah, just like her.
I know. I'd be buying clothes. But I would be, no, I can't say how I would be. But I probably would try to save some of it. You have to have some restraint.
Yeah.
You have to have some restraint with that. But I mean, I wouldn't spend it all on makeup and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wear makeup, but my makeup lasts me forever.
Yeah. Well, you don't use it that often.
No. I use it more than I used to, but not as much. Perfume lasts me forever too.
Yeah.
I just don't feel the need to.
So do you think he's an asshole or not?
I'm gonna say no. People may be upset with me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the
it's
comments
like,
that said that he is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, she's got to have some accountability, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd say he's an asshole if he's expecting her to look a certain way and he's not already happy with how she looks, and then not giving her more money to look how he wants. But that doesn't seem like realistic.
I mean, I would say no, just because she's gonna have some. I mean, you get that much money in a month to play with, and then she knows his standards. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have some responsibility.
Yeah.
You
Well, also, if you're saying like you want to keep up with beauty standards, like, I mean, that would only be for your husband, right? Unless you're trying to impress everyone else.
but
And he said that he understands that there might be like societal pressures, but he didn't
absolutely.
seem like he cared about that much.
No,
You know?
I don't think he cares. I think that's her caring.
Yeah.
I think it's her. And then you want me to give you more money? I mean, no. I don't blame him. I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think he is. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agree with the woman on this.
Yeah, I don't think he is either.
I don't.
So.
I mean, I think that she wants to keep up with societal things, and then there can be other, and people have their opinions in those comments that, oh, if you read others other, okay, well, people are gonna have their views and their standards, and he likes a woman to look a certain way. I'm sure that person that made that comment likes their partner to look a certain way. I mean, we all have standards. Some people like blonde hair, blue eyes for their spouse. Some people don't. Some people like brunettes. Some people, like whatever.
Yeah.
So, some people like to date short people. Some people like tall, dark, handsome, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. People have standards. They like what they like. But just because he likes a woman to look a certain way, the bottom line is she's getting money.
Yeah.
And not just like $50 or $100 a month. She's getting $1,000 each month. This is not like
Yeah, a fun money.
Money can like cover. I mean, it could probably go over to the next month if she didn't spend it like that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, there's no reason. It's not like she spends it and then she doesn't have these things to kind of build. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just, no. I don't think that he is. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's on her on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but you thought I was gonna be like, yes, that's a woman.
Yeah.
Just because she's a woman, she needs to have this. No, I'm a woman and I love to shop, and sometimes I spend too much money, and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have bought that. But that's on me.
Yeah, it's on you.
And then I'd be short somewhere else where I shouldn't be. So yeah, I mean, but I have to have accountability for that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, why did I buy that outfit? Not just because I'm a woman. That'd be saying like Johnny could go out and buy any kind of tool or whatever he wanted to buy just because he's a man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous.
You can't, so that's ridiculous. I don't agree with that.
I think so.
If you want extra money, go get a second job somewhere.
Yeah. Do something. Do Uber.
Yeah. Go do Uber if you're not working, go, that's, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's ridiculous. But she probably don't want to because she's probably a kept woman,
Yeah.
more than likely.
They call it a trad wife these days.
Trad? What the heck?
Traditional. A trad wife.
Oh, a traditional wife.
Yeah, they say
Do they even know what a traditional wife is?
They say trad now. Well, yeah, so a woman that stays at home and cooks and cleans and takes care of the kids and doesn't work.
That's a traditional wife, but they're not. But for a woman that's a kept woman, they usually don't do those things. They like have somebody helping them do those things
Yeah.
because they don't want to break their nails or whatever. So, yeah. That's a housewife that cooks, cleans, running after snot-nosed kids.
Yeah.
That's a housewife. That's a soccer mom. You're thinking of a Stepford wife, the ones that are like the trophy wives.
Well, that's a traditional wife, no?
Beautiful and just June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver, who walked around the house in high heels and dresses and pearls.
Yeah.
And that's not the traditional housewife.
That is.
No woman that I know, unless they are rich, like really rich and doesn't do anything and has nannies and maids, walks around the house in high heels and cleans a house.
Well, that's not. But that's. But that's what.
I know what you
people
mean.
think of when a traditional, just a woman that stays at home and is a home whatever
distorted view. Because I was a stay-at-home wife,
mm-hmm.
and I rarely went to go get my nails done. I was too busy picking you up from school and picking you up from football practice and whatever else.
But I think that kind of stuff, paying for that kind of stuff, is sort of compensation for, keeping the house clean and cooking.
I did have dinner. I was up early in the morning making breakfast.
Yeah.
And I was up early in the morning making breakfast, wash clothes, and
that's what that's what a traditional wife is. A wife that wants to be taken care of.
Made lunch, and then I had dinner done.
Yeah.
In the evenings, made dinner. Yeah, and then, I did all that. That's work. That's not like luxury living. That's hard work.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's
I'm
hard.
not saying it's not.
It's hard taking care of men and kids. I still am doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Even now.
Whatever.
Now I have you, Johnny, and Mom.
Yep.
I do. I think that's why I'm tired.
Oh my goodness.
I do. I got Johnny this new phone. So we got him a new phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do I do this?
Yeah, I thought it was your phone for a second. When I
no. He's got a Samsung.
So do you.
I can't remember what model it is, but and then he got the watch. So he got a smartwatch.
Oh, really? Was it free or did you buy it?
No, he got like a freaking huge ass credit on the
Oh.
phone and the watch. And then he got the green one. His is like mine's like the 40 millimeter or whatever face. He's got like the 44.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he's like, how do I charge this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out my phone.
Yeah.
I haven't even figured out everything that my phone does at this point. So I have no idea. I haven't even used half of what it does.
Mm-hmm.
So
just imagine how the phones will be in 20 years from now.
I don't know. They'll probably be. I don't know.
I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll adapt.
I adapt to a lot of different things. So
yeah.
I'm just taking it day by day right now. But right now I'm tired. So.
Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up.
Because I'm tired. It's probably a boring episode.
No, it's
all
fine.
Good. I'm not my usually bubbly self.
This has been episode 58 of the Tay and Tristan Hour. Be sure to go follow us on all of our social media pages. Just Google Tay and Tristan.
He never knows what they are. This is ridiculous.
Just Google Tay and Tristan and you'll find us somewhere.
Oh my gosh, you cannot do that.
Tay and Tristan Hour, Tay and Tristan Hour podcast.
_podcast. That's the Instagram handle. Oh my gosh, you don't know anything.
Listen, all they got to do, just Google Tay and Tristan and you'll find us.
Yes, and remember to follow us on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment, share it.
Yeah.
Do all that stuff.
Yes. And then continue to follow us on our TikTok page that I just kind of has always been there.
Yeah.
That I found when I got my new phone. So I was like, oh, I can get back in our TikTok page. It was so weird.
Yeah. Well, at least
Strange.
you got it back.
It was so strange.
You got it back.
And yeah, so remember we're on iHeartRadio, and yeah, so you can find us all over.
Wherever you get your
Place.
podcasts.
Apple Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go, I think, eat dinner. It's 8:30, so I need to eat something.
Well, thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
We'll see you
It's been
next
amazing. Thanks, you guys. We appreciate all of your support, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everybody have a great day.
Week. Bye-bye.
Peace.